Everything starts with the wood. So choosing the right wood is paramount to create a great violin. Because no matter how good your skills are, if the choice of wood is bad, the violin will never sound satisfyingly. A violin needs to respond fast, have good resistance and loads of vibrations to be able to display different colors and make the player be able to search those colors and nuances, overtones and depth of an instrument. The next step would be to know how to carve the wood. So you have to create an arching that's ideal. You have to create a great outline that gives volume and power to the instrument so the player can use it. And the third step is the ground and varnish. So the ground should harden and soften the wood at the same time in the right manner. Not harden it too much and not make it too rubbery either. So that is the art, and the varnish gives the surface layer to the instrument to add to the brilliance, but it must also not be too hard or slowly harden out over time. For me, creating violins as well as restoring great old ones is equally exciting. I have absolutely no preference whatsoever. I enjoy to see something created, put the string on and hear the first sounds, and then hear it in a great master's hand being played on a big stage or on recordings. But I also enjoy very much to give an old violin a new lease of life again. That's already 300 years old, had a lot of history, and I can help it to remain in history and be forwarded to next generations. And I enjoyed from quite early on to study instruments, to study and learn and repeat in my brain like vocabulary things I saw, and create and hone my visual memory, because that is very important as an expert, to remember very well instruments and their characteristics. You have to observe very sharply, but also memorize what you observe so that it gives some sense. And to understand all those different schools of violin making only works by many decades of training your brain and repeatedly question yourself. One driver in my life was always to create something that is as good as the very best instruments that were ever created. And I felt as a small boy, I want to create something that will be appreciated by the musician, and to very often know my musician. I'm able to create something that he or she want to use. So like this, I quite often have the experience that before somebody comes here from abroad, I'm listening to recordings, I interview them, and by the time they arrive, I already place 3-4 instruments in front of them that they feel is the right choice, and they're surprised why it's possible that I would have a few instruments that are completely their taste, and they suddenly have a difficulty to decide which one is the better one. And that comes really from understanding that player's needs. And I want to supply the need, and that is in the end the violin or viola or cello.